As we go through life, we will face obstacles and achieve our goals. Our inner strengths and flaws are always at odds with each other. We all want to live a meaningful and strong life, but we often can't reach our full potential because of the habits we have. We will look at 8 habits that weaken you and learn how to break them on this trip that will change your life. Stoicism and Old Greek philosophy, which was started by Zeno of Citium in the early 3rd century BC, offer timeless wisdom that can help us deal with the challenges of modern life. Stoicism tells us to focus on what we can control, to work on virtues like wisdom, courage, and self-discipline, and to handle life's problems with grace and strength as we look at these 8 habits. Keep in mind that becoming self-aware is the first step to change. This means noticing and admitting that we have these habits. It's possible to start replacing them with Stoic ideals that will help us live a strong, meaningful, and peaceful life. Habit number 1. Procrastination of time. He said, Epictetus, "You should only hang out with people who make you feel good and bring out your best, putting things off." A bad habit that many of us have is putting off doing things we need to do. We lose our resolve, make it harder to move forward, and in the end, it takes away valuable time that we could use for personal growth and important projects. Carpe diem, which means seize the day, has been used for a long time to help people stop putting things off. The idea behind Stoicism is to live in the present and enjoy it to the fullest. On the other hand, putting things off comes from worrying about the future or not wanting to do the thing that needs to be done. To break this habit, we need to be calm and keep in mind that the only time we can really control is right now. Stoic teacher Epictetus told us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. People often put things off by thinking too much about what might happen or how hard the job is instead of just doing it. Focusing on the process instead of the result is a Stoic concept that can help you. We can get out of the chains of putting things off. Set small goals that you can reach and keep working towards them. Accept that the present moment is uncomfortable and unsure, because it's when we face challenges that we grow and get stronger to handle bigger jobs. Keep in mind that time is limited, and every day you wait is a day you'll never get back. Putting off doing something or making a choice is called procrastination. This is a normal behavior that can happen to anyone and can cause stress, less work, and missed chances. Figuring out why we put things off and learning how to stop doing that can help us handle our time better and be more productive overall. How to understand procrastination. Procrastination is putting off starting or finishing jobs on purpose, even when you know that doing so could lead to bad things. Types: academic, business, and personal procrastination are all different types of putting things off. Fear of failing, wanting to be perfect, not being motivated, and not being able to handle your time well are all common reasons. The effects on the mind: stress and anxiety. Putting things off can cause more stress and anxiety as due dates get closer. Lower self-esteem. People who constantly put things off may feel guilty, ashamed, and have low self-esteem. Effects on mental health. Putting things off for a long time can lead to mental health problems like anxiety and sadness. The science behind putting things off. The prefrontal cortex, which controls emotions and decision-making, and the limbic system, which controls feelings, are two important parts of the brain that play a big role in putting things off. Feeling good. Right away. People who want to feel good right away often choose short-term pleasure over long-term goals. Cognitive dissonance is when what we want to do and what we actually do are at odds with each other. This makes us feel bad, so we put things off. Tips on how to stop putting things off. Time management techniques. Calendars, to-do lists, and time blocks are some tools that can help you organize your time and get things done. Breaking tasks down into smaller steps. Breaking big tasks down into smaller, more doable parts can make them less scary and easier to start. Setting realistic goals. Setting clear, attainable goals can help you stay motivated and give you a sense of direction. Eliminating distractions. Figuring out what is distracting you and doing your best to avoid it can help you stay focused and get things done. Habits for getting things done. Routine development. Making a daily routine can help you stay on track and lessen your chances of putting things off. Accountability partners. Having someone hold you responsible can help you stay on track by giving you inspiration and support. Positive reinforcement. Giving yourself a reward for finishing a job can help you stay motivated and enjoy the process. Mindfulness and self-compassion. Being mindful and kind to yourself can help you feel better when you put things off and have a more positive outlook on life. For many people, procrastination is a problem. But if you understand what causes it and use successful strategies, you can make it much less of a problem. People can stop putting things off and improve their general health and success by better managing their time, setting attainable goals, and forming useful habits. Habit number 2. What Marcus Aurelius said. The way we think shapes our lives. How we talk to ourselves has a big effect on our confidence, self-esteem, and health as a whole. Talking badly to ourselves all the time makes us weaker because it lowers our self-esteem and stops us from reaching our full potential. Stoicism tells us to be in charge of our thoughts and change negative ones with reasonable ones and kind ones for ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous philosophers and Roman rulers in history, said it was important to pay attention to what we say to ourselves. It was his belief that the way we think shapes how we see the world, so to fight bad self-talk, we should try to keep a positive and logical mind. First, just notice your thoughts without judging them. When self-criticism or self-doubt starts to creep in, catch it and fight it with logic. Check to see if these thoughts are based on facts or are they just the result of fear and nervousness. Treating ourselves with the same love and understanding that we would give to a friend in the same situation is something that Stoicism tells us to do. Instead of scolding yourself for mistakes or what you think are your flaws, think about what you can learn from them and how you can get better. Replace negative self-talk with Stoic principles of reason and self-compassion. There is a lot of strength and resilience inside you that will help you handle life's problems with confidence and style. Your negative self-talk is the negative, critical, or mean things you say to yourself inside your head. This kind of inner dialogue can have a big effect on your mental health and well-being as a whole. To keep a good attitude and improve your mental health, you need to understand and deal with your negative self-talk. What negative self-talk is and the different kinds of it. When you think negatively about yourself, you are criticizing and discouraging yourself. Some common types are: personalizing means putting all the blame on yourself. Filtering means only seeing the bad things about a situation. Catastrophizing means imagining the worst that could happen. Things being seen as either good or bad, with no in-between. Why people talk badly to themselves. A lot of the time, negative self-talk comes from bad situations, bad parenting, or negative messages that you have taken on board. It can be caused by things like low self-esteem, wanting to be perfect, and mental illnesses like sadness and anxiety. How it affects mental health. Talking badly to yourself over and over again can make your stress, anxiety, and sadness worse. It makes you feel bad about your own self-worth and can lead to a cycle of mental health problems that makes it hard to function and reach your goals. Ways to stop talking bad to yourself. Awareness. Notice your negative feelings and become aware of them. Challenge and reframe. Ask yourself if your negative thoughts are really true, and then replace them with ones that are more realistic and positive. Affirmations. Saying good things can help you get rid of negative thoughts. Mindfulness and meditation. Being mindful helps you stay in the present moment and lessens the effect of negative thinking. Get help. Talk to family, friends, or a therapist to get help and a new point of view. Creating a good conversation. Inside yourself. To have a positive inner dialogue, you need to constantly be kind to yourself, celebrate your successes, and treat yourself with the same compassion you would show a friend. This change can help your emotional health, make you stronger, and make you happier in general. To keep your mental health in good shape, you need to understand and deal with your bad self-talk. By noticing the patterns and trying to change them, people can create a more positive and helpful internal dialogue. This can lead to better mental health and a more satisfying life. Habit number 3. Avoiding challenges. Are you ready to let other people think you are stupid and lack knowledge? If you want to get better, okay? Staying in your comfort zone and avoiding difficulties is a bad habit that holds you back from growing and reaching your full potential. It keeps you from getting more patient, brave, and able to handle new scenarios. According to Stoic thought, we should see discomfort and problems as chances to grow as people. Epictetus thought that meeting challenges and going beyond our comfort zones were often the best ways to grow as people and gain control over our lives. People who want to grow and improve themselves think it's important to face their fears and take on obstacles. Stoics think that we can become more patient, more moral, and better understand ourselves and the world around us by choosing to go through hard times. People in today's world tend to look for safety and avoid anything that makes them feel bad. We usually pick the simplest route because we like ease and quick satisfaction. This might help for a short time, but it can slow our long-term growth and keep us from meeting our full potential. When we avoid obstacles, we miss out on great chances to learn and grow. Stoic philosophy says that the only way to really be strong is to face problems head-on and wait for them to go away. We learn important lessons, get better at being patient, and gain virtues like courage, persistence, and resilience through these obstacles. We can't grow as people or as thinkers if we always look for comfort and avoid difficulties. We stay in the same place and don't reach our full ability. People who follow the Stoics' philosophy tell us to leave our comfort zones and do things that test our limits. We not only increase our skills, but we also feel more confident and happy with ourselves when we do this. Also, avoiding difficulties can make you afraid of failing. We miss chances to learn from our mistakes and get better when we always stay on the safe side and avoid taking risks. Stoic philosophy tells us to accept loss as a normal part of life and use it as a chance to learn. Why? By keeping a calm attitude when we fail, we can learn from our mistakes and use that knowledge to move forward. It's important to remember that wanting pain doesn't mean on purpose wanting to suffer needlessly. Stoic thought says that we shouldn't hurt ourselves for no reason. Instead, it tells us to keep our cool and face problems logically. We need to change how we think about pain and realize that it's a normal part of life. Seeking out challenges and discomfort can help you grow and improve yourself. We gain control over our lives. We learn to depend on our morals and inner power instead of what's going on around us. Stoicism tells us to pay attention to what we can change, our thoughts, our deeds, and how we deal with problems. Our happiness and success depend less on things outside of ourselves. Stoic ideas can have a big effect on our lives if we follow them. We can go through life with patience and a sense of mission. We learn how to handle problems, setbacks, and sudden events better so that we don't get swamped by them. As we get older, we learn to see them as chances to grow and get better, to keep a calm attitude and see it through. When we talk about this subject, we should keep an open mind and be ready to question our present beliefs and habits. To do this, we should be aware of our natural desire to avoid pain and follow the Stoic advice to face problems head-on. We can build a strong, open mind that is focused on our own growth. So welcome pain and difficulties and begin the path of self-improvement and learning. It may seem like a good idea to stay comfortable and avoid worry by avoiding challenges, but avoiding difficulties over and over again can stop you from growing as a person, stop you from learning how to solve problems, and stop you from being successful in the long run. For resilience and success, it's important to know the balance between avoiding problems that aren't necessary and facing them head-on when they come up. Understanding what happens when you avoid something. Avoiding difficulties may feel good in the short term, but it often has bad effects in the long term, like missed chances, more stress, and less personal growth. Avoiding things over and over again can make you doubt yourself and be afraid of failing, which makes it harder to take on new tasks. How important it is to face. Dealing with problems makes you stronger and helps you learn how to solve them in a smart way. Getting past problems can make you feel better about your self-worth and give you a sense of success. Taking on tasks can lead to new chances and growth as a person. Tips for dealing with problems. Break down big problems into smaller jobs that you can handle. Maintain an upbeat attitude and see problems as chances to learn. Use people you trust, like friends, family, or teachers, to help you through tough times. When to stay away from problems. You shouldn't always face problems head-on. You should think about whether a problem is worth the trouble. Sometimes it's smart to stay away from problems that you can't solve or that don't fit with your goals. Learning to say no to problems that aren't necessary saves energy for bigger, more important problems. Keeping avoidance and engagement in check. Think about the past to figure out when avoiding something was helpful and when it got in the way of growth. Make your goals attainable and choose tasks that will help you grow as a person and in your career. Always look at your situation and skills and change how you deal with problems based on what you find. People can build resilience, grow as people, and achieve long-term success by realizing what happens when they avoid obstacles and learning how to face them wisely. Habit number 4. Indulging in excessive materialism. Habit number 4 on the list is being too attached to material things in Stoic thought. Ethics and inner virtues are valued more than things in the outside world. But if we care too much about material things, we might lose sight of what really counts and stop being happy in the long term. We live in a world where consumerism is very important. It's simple to get caught up in the chase of wealth. Many of us think that having lots of things will make us happy and complete. Stoic thought, on the other hand, tells us that things in the outside world are only temporary and can't be changed. They might get lost, stolen, or broken. We put ourselves at risk of constant failure and dissatisfaction when we depend on them for happiness. When we connect our happiness and sense of self-worth to things, we can't stop wanting more. We can become obsessed with getting rich, always looking for the next big deal or the newest tech tool. This never-ending desire can make us unhappy because there's always something new to want or someone who has more than us. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, said that it is important to tell the difference between wants and needs. Too much materialism comes from always wanting more and thinking that owning things will make you happy in the long run. Stoic philosophy tells us to think about our wants again and put those that are in line with our values and well-being at the top of the list. To break the habit of being too materialistic. To begin, learn to be happy with what you already have. Realize that the chase of material things often leads to a cycle of wanting more and being unhappy with what you already have. Don't focus on getting more things. Instead, work on getting traits like wisdom, courage, and compassion. These are the real things that make you happy. Stoic philosophy tells us to stop focusing on things we can get and start working on developing ideals inside ourselves. Things we can manage like wisdom, courage, equanimity, and justice can make us happy for a long time. We can find deep meaning and happiness in life by valuing these virtues and trying to improve them. Also, being too attached to material things can make you feel unsafe and anxious. We might always be afraid of losing what we have or look at other people and think they have more than we do. This attachment keeps us stuck in a loop of fear and envy that makes it hard to live a peaceful life. Stoic philosophy tells us to practice detachment to break this habit. This doesn't mean we should give up all of our material things. We should instead build a good bond with them. Know that things we own are not what make us happy or validate our worth. They are tools that can be used to make our lives and the lives of others better. To become more detached, we can practice gratitude by being thankful for what we have and focusing on what really counts. To be happier and less attached to material things, we can work on being satisfied. We can also follow minimalism, which means getting rid of the tyranny of materialism and making our lives simpler by getting rid of things that don't add value. We can follow the rules of Stoicism in what we do. We can work on growing virtues, making connections with others that matter, and making the world a better place. This change in how we think lets us find real happiness and live a life based on Stoic ideals. To sum up, being too attached to material things makes our practice of Stoic thought less strong. It takes our attention away from inner values and the search for lasting happiness. Realizing that external things are only temporary and practicing detachment can help us break free from the loop of desire. Developing virtues and living by Stoic principles can also bring us happiness. The worth that people put on getting and owning things and money is called materialism. Material things can make our lives easier and more comfortable, but too much greed often leads to bad things. When you're too materialistic, you put getting things ahead of other things in life, like relationships, personal growth, and your health and happiness. People act this way because they think that having and using material things will make them happy and fulfilled. The false hope of happiness. Too much wealth makes people think that they can buy happiness. A lot of people think that getting the newest tools, high-end items, or trendy items will make them happy in the long run. This feeling of happiness doesn't last long, though, which makes people want more all the time. How it affects mental health. Overindulging in material things can be bad for your mental health. The constant search for things can cause stress, worry, and feelings of not being good enough. People who base their sense of self-worth on what they own may have low self-esteem and a constant feeling of being unhappy. Putting stress on relationships. Putting money before relationships can make it harder to connect with others. When people are too focused on getting things, they might forget to spend time with their family and friends. This can make people feel alone and cut off from real social interactions, which are important for mental health. Effects on the environment. The world is getting worse because of too much materialism. Overproduction and overconsumption are caused by the constant need for new goods. This uses up natural resources and makes pollution and waste worse. This kind of behavior isn't sustainable and will hurt the world and future generations in the long run. Personal and spiritual happiness. True happiness often comes from things that aren't material, like growing as a person, being creative, and making other people happy. People can find more happiness and a sense of meaning by focusing on experiences, relationships, and personal growth instead of things they own. Habit number 5. Seeking external validation. Seeking approval from other people is a habit that can make your Stoic attitude less strong. Stoic philosophy tells us that it's more important to focus on our own good qualities than on getting approval from other people. Too much reliance on outside approval can make you reliant on other people's views and weaken your independence. Because social media sites are becoming more and more popular, people often look for support from other people. A lot of the time, we judge our happiness and sense of self-worth by how many likes, comments, and fans we have. When you count on other people's opinions and approval, this constant need to be accepted can make your self-esteem weak. Stoic thought, on the other hand, tells us that real happiness and contentment come from inside. Stoic philosophers stress how important it is to acquire virtues like self-control, wisdom, courage, and justice. These traits don't depend on what other people think or agree with you. Instead, they are traits that we can work on developing within ourselves, no matter what is going on around us. When we always want other people to like us, we give up our power. We let new opinions change us quickly, and our sense of self-worth depends on their approval. This can make you keep looking for approval from other people, which can make it hard to be happy and at peace with yourself. To show this habit, let's look at an example. Think about writing a blog post that you're really proud of and that you worked hard on. Instead of thinking about how valuable your work is and how much it makes you happy, you check the number of views, likes, and comments right away to see if everyone agrees with you. You feel let down and question the value of your work when the feedback is not what you expected. Depending on other people's approval makes you less confident and lowers the value of your own work. So how can we break this habit and make our practice of Stoic thought stronger? To begin, it's important to understand that getting approval from others is temporary and often out of our hands. Other people's views can change, and trying to get their approval is a never-ending process. Instead, work on building virtues within yourself and making sure your actions are in line with Stoic principles. Learn to understand and accept yourself. When you want praise, pay attention to what you're thinking and feeling. Ask yourself why you need praise from other people and think about whether it fits with your values and goals. Remember that what makes you valuable is not what other people think of you, but what you do and how you act. Believe in your own ability to think things through and decide what to do. Try to accept yourself by judging your deeds by the Stoic virtues. Instead of comparing yourself to others, work on growing and improving yourself. Remember that your happiness and satisfaction come from inside you, not from outside sources. Instead of surrounding yourself with people who are always negative or make you feel bad about yourself, surround yourself with people who care about and want you to grow. Get feedback from people you trust, who only want what's best for you. But keep in mind that what they say shouldn't define your job. To sum up, constantly seeking praise from others is a habit that hurts our practice of Stoic philosophy because it makes us realize how useless it is to use other people's opinions to judge ourselves. We can work on developing good qualities and achieving happiness inside ourselves. Learn more about yourself and make friends who can help you. This will help you become a better follower of Stoic thought. Livermore, a morally satisfying life. When you need support, affirmation or acceptance from other people to feel good about yourself, you're seeking external validation. It's normal for people to do that, but it can be a problem when it has a big effect on their self-esteem and ability to make decisions. Individuals can develop a stronger sense of self-worth by learning how outward validation works. Meaning and reasons for it. External reinforcement is when other people say nice things about you or approve of what you're doing. This can boost your confidence or self-esteem. Reasons. It can come from things that happened to you as a child, pressures from society, or your own fears. For instance, kids whose parents only loved or approved of them if they did certain things may grow up looking for the same kind of acceptance from their peers and adults in charge. Good and bad things about it. Positives. People who seek validation may be more likely to reach their goals, make new friends, and follow social rules. Negative aspects. Relying too much on approval from others can cause stress, low self-esteem, and not being yourself. People might make decisions based on what other people want instead of what they really want and value. How it affects mental health, stress, and anxiety. People who are always trying to get praise can feel stressed and anxious because they worry about what other people think. Self-esteem. Your sense of self-worth depends on what other people say, which can make your self-esteem unstable and change based on what other people think. How to read the signs. Behaviors that show this include wanting praise too much, being afraid of being rejected, and changing how they act to fit in. Emotional signs. Feeling unworthy or nervous without being praised, and mood swings caused by what other people say. Tips on how to depend less on outside validation. Self-awareness means noticing and accepting the behavior. Think about why you want to be validated and how that affects the choices you make. Self-compassion. Be kind to yourself and work on accepting yourself. Know that your sense of self-worth should come from inside you. Set your own goals. Don't base your goals on what other people want you to do. Instead, make goals that are in line with your values and hobbies. Look for internal validation. Develop an inner sense of approval by recognizing your own strengths and accomplishments rather than depending on praise from other people. Therapy and support. If you want to deal with deep-seated fears and boost your self-esteem, you might want to get professional help or join a support group. Habit number 6. Inability to cope with negative emotions. Stoic philosophy tells us that we should use our minds and not let our feelings control what we do. However, we lose the ability to stay calm and act in a good way when we give in to bad feelings like anger, envy, or fear. Let's learn more about this subject and find out how giving in to our bad feelings affects our Stoic practice and our health as a whole. Emotions that are bad seem to overpower logic and make it hard to make decisions. When our anger takes over, we often act without thinking and say or do things we later wish we hadn't. Being envious can make us angry and bitter, which can damage our relationships and paralyze us, keeping us from taking risks or meeting challenges that we need to. These feelings not only make it harder to make good choices, but they also slow us down as we try to build virtues like self-control, patience, and kindness. Stoics believe that feelings are just impressions that come from how we think about the world. Some people, called Stoics, think that we have power over how we think and feel. Mindfulness and self-awareness practices help us look at our thoughts and judgments, fight thoughts that make us feel bad, and form thoughts that are in line with reason and ethics. Apathy is one of the most important ideas in Stoic thought. Complete detachment from feelings is something that people often get wrong. That being said, It's not about hiding or ignoring your feelings. It's about becoming emotionally strong and keeping your calm when things get tough. Stoics agree that bad feelings are normal and can't be stopped, but they tell us to deal with them by being wise and in control. So how can we break the habit of giving in to our bad feelings and make our Stoic practice stronger? Here are some ideas for you. Number 1. Practice awareness. That way you can become more aware of your feelings as they come up. Being mindful lets us notice our feelings and thoughts without getting caught up in them. Being aware of this gives us a chance to stop, think, and choose a more sensible reaction instead of acting without thinking. Sucker 2. Have doubts about your assessments. When you feel bad feelings, take some time to think about the basic thoughts that are making them happen. Are your opinions based on a fair picture of what's going on, or are they skewed by bias or foolish beliefs? You can change your viewpoint and lessen the intensity of your negative emotions by questioning and reorganizing these evaluations. Number 3. Regularly think about yourself. Think about your acts, what you thought, and how they turned out. Figure out the patterns that make you feel bad on a regular basis and think about other ways to respond. Self-reflection helps you see where you can improve and come up with good ways to handle your emotions. Number 4. Look for good instead of evil. When you feel angry or resentful, tell yourself of the Stoic principle that you should focus on doing good things instead of getting even or being hostile. Think about what will happen in the long run if you act on your bad feelings and try to react with kindness, understanding, and forgiveness. Number 5. Enjoy peace and quiet. Stoic thought tells us to accept the things we can't change and concentrate on the things we can. Develop a calm attitude and accept that you can't control outside events or other people's actions. By letting go of the need to control everything, you can stay calm and lessen the effects of bad feelings by using the techniques regularly. We can get better at being calm and get rid of the habit of giving in to bad feelings. Always keep in mind that this process takes time and work. We may make mistakes along the way, but every mistake is a chance to learn and grow. Stick to the Stoic principles of knowing yourself and not giving up as you try to live a better, more happy life. So letting our bad feelings control our actions is against the practice of Stoicism. Instead, practice being mindful, questioning your judgments, self-reflection, choosing virtue over revenge, and accepting peace. We can slowly lessen the effects of bad feelings on our lives. By doing this, we connect ourselves with Stoicism, the ideas of reason, strength, and inner peace, which makes our lives better and more satisfying. It is normal for people to feel bad feelings sometimes. However, some people find it hard to handle these feelings in a healthy way. Not being able to handle bad feelings can cause a lot of mental health problems, social problems, and a general drop in quality of life. Understanding the things that make this problem worse and learning how to deal with them can help your mental health. Understanding how to deal with bad feelings. Feelings like sadness, anger, fear, and worry are examples of negative emotions. These feelings are normal and can happen in a number of scenarios. Why people feel bad? Bad feelings can be signs that something is wrong or needs attention, which makes people act. Reasons why people can't deal biological elements. Some people find it harder to control their feelings because of their genes or an imbalance in the chemicals in their brain. Environmental factors. Life events that cause stress, trauma, and bad situations as a child can make it hard to deal with bad feelings. Effects of not having good coping skills, problems with mental health. Not being able to handle things well can cause problems like sadness, anxiety disorders, and drug abuse. Mental and physical health. Long-term stress and bad feelings can hurt your body, causing problems like high blood pressure, heart disease, and a weaker immune system. Figuring out bad ways to cope. Avoidance means ignoring or avoiding the thing that makes you feel bad instead of dealing with it. Self-medication means using drugs or alcohol to dull your mental pain. Aggression, getting angry at other people as a way to deal with your own problems. Creating healthy ways to deal with stress. Mindfulness and meditation are practices that help people stay in the present moment and control how they respond to bad feelings. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is a type of therapy that helps people change the way they think and act when they are having bad thoughts. Helping hands. Building strong bonds with family, friends, or support groups so you can talk about your feelings and work through them. Physical activity. Working out regularly can make you feel better and lower your stress. Professional help. Getting help from therapists or counselors to come up with good ways to deal with problems. To keep your mental and physical health in good shape, you need to understand and deal with your inability to handle negative feelings. People can improve their mental strength and quality of life by figuring out what's causing their problems and using healthy ways to deal with them. Habit number 7. Dwelling on past mistakes. Thinking about mistakes you've made in the past is a habit that can hurt your Stoic attitude. Stoicism tells us to focus on the present, accept what has happened, and move on from our mistakes instead of focusing on them all the time. However, a lot of us get stuck in a cycle of regret, guilt, and self-blame that stops us from growing as people and going forward. Playing over and over again bad memories of mistakes made us feel stuck and reinforced our negative feelings. This habit not only makes it harder to be happy and at peace, but it also keeps us from fully enjoying the moment and making good changes. Knowing that we can't change the past is one of the most important ideas in Stoic thought. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "What really scares and upsets us is not what happens in the outside world, but how we think about it." This quote makes a point of showing how our ideas and beliefs affect how we see and understand the world. By remembering mistakes from the past, we let ourselves be overwhelmed by bad feelings and thoughts that cause us to suffer needlessly. Stoicism says we should accept the things we did and the results they had in the past, own up to them, and focus on what we can do now to make ourselves and our situations better. It's important to show kindness and forgiveness if you want to break this habit. We humans are prone to making mistakes, and it's normal to make mistakes as you learn and grow. We shouldn't blame ourselves for things we've done in the past. Instead, we should work on accepting and knowing ourselves. Instead of seeing mistakes as failures, it can be helpful to change how we think about them. The things that happen can be seen as lessons that help us grow as people. There is a chance to grow and get better with every mistake. If we adopt this way of thinking, we can let go of our past mistakes and concentrate on the here and now. Mindfulness is a strong way to stop dwelling on mistakes that you have already made. By changing our attention to the present, we can be mindful and focus on it without judging it. We can stop feeling bad about the things we did in the past and fully enjoy the present moment. Making it a habit to be thankful can also help us focus on the good things in our lives instead of the bad things that happened in the past. By making it a habit to be thankful for the present moment and the lessons we've learned from the past, we can focus on the good things in life and feel satisfied. Lastly, breaking the habit of thinking about mistakes you've made in the past takes work and a dedication to following the principles of Stoic thought. it's important to remember that we can choose how to deal with our past, and that dwelling on our mistakes only keeps us from living a happy and good life. We can do this by letting go of the past, being kind to ourselves, being aware, and making gratitude a habit. We can get better at resisting this habit and see things more calmly. Our mistakes help us grow as people, and they can also help us focus on what's important, the present moment, and the goal of virtue. Thus, try to break free from the chains of regret about the past and follow the advice of Stoic philosophy to live a more useful and good life. It's normal for people to think about mistakes they've made in the past. It means thinking about and reliving mistakes you made in the past over and over again, which can make you feel sorrow, shame, and guilt. Though thinking about mistakes can teach you important lessons, focusing on them too much can hurt your mental health and stop you from growing as a person. For mental health, it's important to understand how this behavior affects others and figure out how to move on. Learn what happens. When you think about your mistakes, thinking about mistakes you've made in the past can make you feel bad feelings like anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. It can stop people from growing as people and from focusing on chances now and goals for the future. Recognize the chance to learn. You can learn and grow from every mistake. It can be helpful to think about what went wrong and why. Now that you know these things, you can make better choices and avoid making the same mistakes again. Learn to be kind to yourself. You should be kind and understanding to yourself, just like you would be to a friend who has done something wrong. Just know that mistakes are a normal part of being human and that everyone makes them. Develop healthy ways to deal with stress. Do things that help you relax and keep your mind healthy, like sports, exercise, or meditation. Talk to a therapist or trusted friend to get help and a new point of view. Think about the present and the future. Set goals that are attainable and will help you move on from the past and focus on doing good things. Mindfulness methods can help you stay in the present and stop thinking too much about the past. People can live a more rewarding and balanced life if they understand what happens when they keep thinking about mistakes they made in the past and make plans to move on. Habit number 8. Ignoring the well-being of other. The health and happiness of each person is deeply linked to the health and happiness of the community in our interconnected society. Ignoring other people's well-being can have big effects, not just on the people who are ignored, but also on society as a whole. Knowing what this kind of neglect means can help us create a more caring and helpful setting. How it affects mental health. Ignoring other people's health can cause serious emotional problems like depression, anxiety, and feelings of being alone. People's mental health can get worse when they feel ignored and mistreated, which can make it harder for them to function and contribute to society. Building trust and social cohesion. When people in a society don't care about their own well-being, trust and social cohesion break down. People need to trust each other in order to work together and build a community. Neglecting one person can break down that trust, leaving the community broken up and split. Effects on the economy. Ignoring other people's well-being can have a big effect on the economy. Poor physical and mental health can make people less productive, raise the cost of healthcare, and put more stress on social services. A strong economy depends on a healthy people. Thoughts on morals and ethics. It is morally wrong to ignore other people's well-being because it goes against the ideas of empathy, compassion, and fairness. As a society, we need to make sure that everyone has the chance to live a happy and healthy life. Effects on society over time. Neglecting the well-being of others can have very bad long-term effects. If these problems aren't fixed, crime rates may go up, social unrest may spread, and people may not enjoy their lives as much. Taking care of everyone's health and happiness is important for long-term social growth. We can build a more welcoming, helpful, and strong society by noticing and caring about the well-being of others. In Stoic thought, we should all care about the well-being of each other because we are all part of a bigger human community, like cosmopolitanism says. Ignoring other people's wants and suffering can make us less empathetic and less moral, which can stop us from developing moral qualities. Stoic thought says that we should try to live in balance with nature and work on developing good qualities like moderation, wisdom, justice, and courage. Stoic philosophy stresses the importance of being kind to other people as one of the most important values. This concept is broken when we don't care about the well-being of others, which can make us feel disconnected from other people. When we don't care about other people's well-being, we stop caring about their problems, wants, and pain. This indifference can show up in many ways, such as not feeling the pain of those less wealthy, or not helping or supporting others by ignoring their well-being. We miss out on chances to practice empathy and care, which are important for building moral character. Through understanding how everyone is connected, Stoic philosophy tells us that we should treat each person with respect, care, and understanding. We can learn to care about other people and act in ways that help them. When we don't care about other people's well-being, we miss out on the benefits of being kind and helpful. Studies have shown that acts of kindness are good for both the person who receives them and the person who does them. We can feel fulfilled, connected, and like we have a purpose in life by actively seeking the well-being of others. Also, ignoring the well-being of others feeds the self-centeredness that stops us from growing as people. Stoic philosophy tells us that the only way to be truly happy and satisfied is to live a good life and make sure that our actions are in line with moral and intellectual principles. By not caring about the well-being of others, we become trapped by greed and self-interest when we lose sight of this basic truth. To break this habit and get better at following the Stoic mindset, we should work on having empathy and kindness for other people. By performing acts of kindness and embracing the virtue of benevolence, you can actively learn about other people's points of view and experiences. We not only improve our practice of the Stoic theory, but we also help make the world a better place by spreading kindness and peace. We become good change agents who work to improve other people's lives and build community. Finally, ignoring other people's well-being is a habit that hurts our practice of Stoicism by showing us how important understanding and kindness are. There are things we can do to break this pattern and care more about the well-being of everyone. By doing these things, we not only improve our own character, but we also help make society more moral and caring. Through 8 habits that make you weak, we've learned a lot about the Stoic philosophy and how its ideas can help us break these bad habits. By using Stoic thought, you can change all of these habits. Stoicism tells us to pay attention to what we can change, develop good qualities, and be brave and patient when life gives us problems. To be happy, it tells us to live in the present and let go of the need for outside praise and material things. We can leave our comfort zone and learn from the past without being held back by guilt. Remember that change takes time and work as you start the process of turning your weakness into a strength. You should be kind to yourself and follow the Stoic ideals every day. If you work hard and don't give up, you can break these habits and live a meaningful, strong, and peaceful life. Adopt the ideas of Stoic thought. Look for acceptance inside yourself. Instead of complaining, be thankful. Value character over material wealth. Be brave when you face problems. Let go of the past. You will start a trip of change that will lead you to a life of strength, wisdom, and lasting happiness if you do this. You are in charge of the journey, and you can easily reach your goal. Take today to change your life with Stoic thought. Thanks for watching this video. Tell us what you think in the space below. If this video was helpful to you, please like it and share it with other people who might find it useful. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We want you to keep reading so that we can both learn and grow.